When some of us hear or see Republican leaders spouting utter nonsense on TV under the guise of moral and or managerial superiority, whether it's things like supposed fiscal probity, although they have none, just look at the deficit run-ups by Republican presidents over the past half century, or supposed evidence of election fraud, they have none, just look at their 1 for 32 court record over the last few weeks. We're talking about people like Mitch McConnell or Lindsey Graham, Rudy Giuliani or Sidney Powell, Kayleigh McEnany, Bill Barr, Mike Pompeo, Tucker Carlson, or Donald Trump. There can be an overwhelming desire to say, quietly, in the privacy of one's own home, just sit down and shut the f*** up. But the name to remember today just may be that of 70-year-old Norman Shinkle, one of 2 Republican members of the 4-person Michigan Board of State Canvassers, the body responsible for certifying the results of Michiganders' 2020 voting. This should be a straightforward affair. Biden won, and there has been no evidence that has stood court scrutiny of systemic election fraud anywhere in the country in this election. Never mind that Trump administration appointed director of the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, Chris Krebs, said, quote, 59 election security experts all agree. In every case of which we are aware, these claims of fraud either have been unsubstantiated or are technically incoherent. You know, the Chris Krebs who was then fired by tweet by the tweeter-in-chief. But Norman has expressed concerns about the vote tally in Wayne County, especially Detroit, and has floated the idea that he might vote against certifying the results there. In other words, Normie wants to invalidate the votes of the largest city in the state, which just happens to be 82.7% black or African American, and just happened to vote overwhelmingly for Joe Biden. But first, he wants to assess whether or not he can get away with it. Norman. Of course you do. You're the same Norman Shinkle whose wife was a witness in Trump's lawsuit against Wayne County, which, by the way, was dropped last week. You're also the guy who, back in 2012, refused to certify hundreds of thousands of signed petitions in Michigan because it was clear to you that a completely bogus claim about non-conforming font size on the petition was sufficient to silence the voice of, let's not put too fine a point on this, black or African Americans. Now, Norman will vote one way or the other in less than half an hour. What we need to do right now is not quietly mutter well-deserved profanities, but instead stand up and shout from the rooftops, just do your job, Norman. Certify the vote. Hashtag just do your fucking job, Norman. Hashtag certify the vote on Twitter will also do nicely.